Well, since I've been talking about the vinyl flooring, let's see how the vinyl flooring came out. The guys, remember he was short a couple boxes, 2.5 boxes, and he wasn't able to finish this little closet because when he measured this initially, he didn't realize, he didn't look on the paperwork, and he didn't realize this stuff was like 16 inches wide. And most, see there, look, 16 inches by 32 inches long. And most vinyl planking or wood planking is not 16 inches wide, is it? Most of the stuff you see at the store might be 4 or 5 inches wide. Then you don't have as much waste. But because he didn't read his paperwork properly, he didn't realize it was the 16-inch wide, because had he have done that, he would have ordered a few extra boxes, because you've got more waste when you install this stuff, especially if you have a 9-inch piece over here, and if you have a 9-inch piece over there, you've got to cut it out of 2 long pieces. You can't use half of a cut over here and use that same cut over here because it's too short. See what I'm saying? So on that side, if that was 9 inches, you've got a 7-inch long piece of waste, 7-inch long piece of waste over there. Something like that, for instance, will give you more waste. Now, granted, they didn't lay it out that way. They tried to take a straight wall in here, and they started off of there, and then they went, however it lined up from there, they went. So see, this set of planking goes all the way straight, all the way through here. Then they filled this in, and whatever gap was left, they had to cut. See, here's the last seam right there. Right there, and then they cut that, so that extra piece was waste. Because when you come over here, let's see where the last piece is over here. It just happened to be about the same. Look where it is, see? Had this last seam been over here, they could have taken the waste off of that long strip, and they could have flip-flopped it over here and ran it over here, see? But because layouts never seem to work that well, you always have to get extra. So he ran short, and luckily for him, he thought he was going to have to order it. They just happened to have 3 boxes on the shelf, and he was able to finish this little closet area here. And remember, this closet had a trap door here that goes underneath the house, and I got him a finger pole to install in here with that nice. And then I had him install his trim around here. So you pull this up, and it flops back down in there. And the trim he had, see, I thought he was going to use this type of trim here, like this, okay? See how it's got the groove on there? And then that snaps in. You take this long plastic stuff here. Here's a piece he didn't use. See, you would nail that little plastic trim down first, and then this trim snaps into it. See, kind of like this here. This happens to be a different type of trim. See there? This trim went around the door. Doesn't that look nice? How he trimmed that off? And that won't come up because it's snapped into this little plastic goodie, like that. And then he also did the same type of trim molding over here by the doors. Here, this door goes out into the garage. We'll open this up just so you can kind of see. See, here's the threshold, and here's the trim. And he extended that to the edge of the door casing. And that's where the last piece of trim will fit too, just to there. And then my bullnose trim will come on here for the baseboard later, and we'll just die into that. Okay, and I'll probably cut that back at a 45. See, he did a really nice job on that. And then he did this one here too, by this door, the front door. I just had this was the old carpet, and I still have some in the garage that I saved, and I thought I'm just going to cut some of that so people can wipe their feet off now on it. And we'll probably change that later, but just for the time being, I did that, and I had a piece extra, and I put it out there on the deck just so if people go out there, they can kind of wipe their feet off. But back to this thing here, back to this door. He said, yeah, I'm going to put that T-trim around here. A portion of it is going to fit on the door, and then the extra piece that hangs over fits over the edge of where his cutout of his flooring was. And I was asking him, I said, are you gonna put it in this little plastic deal? And I thought that's what he was gonna do. Cause see, here's the runner. But then I hear him doing all this cutting, and later on he said that he used double-sided tape, and he took just a flat bar and he taped it down there with some double-sided, really super sticky tape that he gets from the carpet wholesale house. And he put it on that. He said it's never going to come off. And I thought, that's pretty cool. How he thinks that's going to last better than having to put that plastic strip you'd have to put right on the edge of the trap door. And I think he could have still used this. I'm not quite sure why he didn't do that. But see this? I saw this later and I thought, what the heck is this? Look at that. That's that plastic bit. See? That's this plastic. Look at that. He took his what do you call it? His multi-tool, and he trimmed that off. He's good, man. He trimmed that off one of these, okay? He didn't have a flat bar with him without this groove. So he ripped that little section off. Man, he did a really good job of doing that. You gotta have a good eye and steady hands to trim that. Okay, so he trimmed that off of this T-trim here. Okay, so he just had a flat bar. Then he put double-sided tape, really super strong sticky tape, like I say, and he put it on there. Okay, and you just lift that up. You see, that's the trap door. There it is. And then he just glued it flat on there. I guess that works better. I think maybe he had to do it like that for a reason. Because he felt the other way wasn't going to snap down all the way snug. I said I'm trying to get this back in, and I just lifted it, and his sticky stuff was coming off right over here on this side. I'm gonna have to. Maybe it's because it hasn't dried all the way just yet. We'll see. We'll see how well it sticks. It should stick really well, and that's how that trap door is going to look. I was thinking about taking that back up and maybe putting a little thin piece of weather stripping on the back side of that. See how that just doesn't seem like it's holding. I may have to have him look at that, and he might have to put something else on there if that doesn't stay stuck on there. He may have to use some super glue gel, or I don't know. We'll figure that out later. But it looks really nice what he did. And when I get ready to put the quarter round trim on, I'm thinking of having the quarter round and just notching it over that, so I have a continuous piece of quarter round going all the way through there. Okay, we'll deal with that later. So, anyways, he's all done. He's all done with this, and then I made sure he left me some extra pieces, and he happened to have. He thought he needed 2.1 boxes. He's got a full box left 6 pieces in a box that he's left with me. And then he left me the extra pieces of trim, and I've got them upstairs like this. So I've got some extra pieces of this and the backing pieces and this actual type of trim, because he said lots of times, you know, periodically, you may, your threshold here might get whacked, might get hit by something, it might crack or chip off or split off or something like that. So it's always a good idea to save a few pieces. So he had some extra pieces, and he wasn't going to use them because they don't use this particular floor style that often. And he ordered it for this job, so he says, hey, you can have it. And so I'm going to store it. And all this stuff he's going to end up throwing away. I was initially thinking maybe some of these cut pieces, maybe I would take, you know, a few of these. He's just going to throw them away. I might take a few of those and put them up in storage, and who knows what I'll use them for, or you know, they could be used for a patch. If you had a patch in a corner or something, and it just happened to, you know, a size like that at the end just happened to fit, and they could cut a little piece off of something like that instead of a full tile. But yeah, if you ever get a scratch on this stuff, or a big old gouge from something, or even some sort of stain, you spill something on there and for some reason it doesn't happen to come off, or you scrub and scrub and scrub on it, or you use the wrong cleaner and you discolor a tile, these tiles can be removed and replaced. Okay? I'm not sure how they do it, but you know, the installers are really good. They've got their little tricks on how to patch stuff. You know, they may have to trim off a little piece and get it in there just right, and kind of shave off the back side so that they can fit it in there or something. But hey, I know they can do it, and so that's why whenever you do a floor like this, any type of laminate flooring, wood flooring, whatever it is, make sure you save a few pieces, because you never know when you're going to need it. Or you may think, oh, it's just a standard thing over at the Home Depot. I know what it is, so if anything ever happens, I'll just get it over there. I only had one extra piece, and I'm not going to get another box of that. I know they've got it. And then later on down the road, a year, 8 months later, you get a gouge, and it goes across 3 tiles, and you got one full tile, and you go back to the store, you know exactly where it is, you know the name, the color, the brand, you've even taken a picture of it and saved it on your phone. And you get over to the Home Depot or wherever you went, and guess what? We don't carry that anymore. We're out of stock on that. They don't make that style anymore. They've discontinued that. The dial-lot color is different than what you got, and you get all those types of things. Because see, this stuff here, I don't know if they ever have a dial-lot color change, but trust me, on wood planking flooring, the laminate flooring, if you don't get it in the same run and you get another box of it, you know, 6 months down the road, the shading could be slightly different than your shading on your floor. Now all of a sudden you installed a couple pieces and you find out, oh, it's lighter or it's darker or whatever. So you always want to make sure whenever you install your flooring, even if make sure you've got, you know, 7 or 8 pieces left out of you know, 4 or 5 inch wide planking, or this big stuff, you want at least more than one piece. You know, he had 6. If he only had one piece, I'd probably go back to the carpet installer, you know, where he works at the office, and have them order me one more box, let's say. Okay? Or if you're done with the job and you're so proud that you only got one piece left, go back to the store before they discontinue it, before it gets out of stock, before they don't order it anymore, or before somebody else grabs the last 8 boxes there and the next shipment that comes in is a different dial-lot color. Okay? Make sure you go back. If you only have 1 or 2 pieces in storage that you can save for future repairs. Make sure you go back to the store and buy another box. I'm telling you, it could come in handy for you. And if you never use it, hey, you can give it to the next person when you sell the house, and that'll be a nice little present for somebody, and they might be really happy about that you've got an extra box for repairs, okay? Well, that's it from here for this time.